All right. So we have another patch. At this point, there's been so many patches. I just wonder if there's any boat left, right? I mean, was there ever a boat? I don't know. Anyway, we have another patch. Hotfix. Following issues have been addressed in this hotfix update. Fix situations where certain Steam profile names were causing crashes during matchmaking. Now, when I did play games on MK1, like the absolute pile of horseshit that is MK1 that came out a couple of years ago, anyone that had sort of some like maybe like Chinese symbols or like Asian symbols in the name or some sort of obscure stuff, their name would always come up with like question marks, like constantly. So you could never actually see who their name was. And then if you went and visited, like, say, their profile after the match from the replay, you'd see like this really obscure, like either full of symbols or another language. So obviously, in this instance, you know, in this instance, they're actually using like, it might be the same thing, but it's actually causing crashes. So that's obviously been fixed. I haven't had any crashes since the update. I just ran a few matches. It wasn't too shabby. It says fixed desync issues that resulted from certain offline options impacting online matches. Implemented default game settings for all quick match settings. Okay, so that's good. Addressed issue where game boxes and arcade cabinets could overlap with text when viewing other games. Was that the Schizo edition that I covered? I can't remember. It might be that they're talking about. Unless it's this one here. Fixed visual artifacts and stability issues due to certain hardware driver configurations. So they did make it so that if you have the game installed on Steam, and this is Steam, right? If you go to the install folder, right click on the exe, go to properties. I think it's under the compatibility tab, and I think you disable full screen optimization, something like that. You won't have these issues if you're playing on DirectX. In the last, I think it was 2 patches ago, they introduced OpenGL Beta instead of DirectX if you're having issues. So obviously, like, one of the patches that they implemented has clearly caused some sort of like break in the, like in terms of like the visual makeup of certain aspects of accessing menus and stuff, because it doesn't seem to do it in the game, but it does it in the menus itself. So I will commend that they are on top of their game when it comes to trying to get to the root cause of these issues. I highly recommend, please, going to their Discord, the Digital Eclipse Discord. I did a video about it yesterday where you can actually post all the issues that you're having. It also has a suggestions area that you can post suggestions for stuff down the track. But ultimately, they'd be looking at all the bugs and issues and glitches and crashes and whatnot that need, like, these are the things that are a top priority to get this stuff sorted out. So that way, anyone that's been sitting on the fence looking at this show, anyone that is refunded looking at this show, and even people like myself who have still got the game and are looking at the show and going, man, this ain't a good show, will eventually go, okay, I'm going to jump back in. This seems all pretty solid. And I think a lot of people will probably be looking at, either content creators or possible gaming website review or gaming website coverage of when the online arcade drops to see whether or not improved. Now, I was just in Godly's stream before over at Next Gen Nostalgia, and I just said the online arcade looked pretty sweet because I did a coverage video of his coverage of it, and it does look pretty good. It looks nice and neat. It looks pretty easy to set up rooms, set up those lobbies within those rooms. And he said that he actually felt like the online gaming was actually better. Now, I have said this for the last, give or take, a week, that what we're experiencing right now feels like a placeholder. Again, this could have all been avoided if Digital Eclipse just came out and told us, hey, a couple of weeks ago or whenever before launch, this is the state of the game in terms of online. It's not going to be pretty. It's not meant to be good. Somebody even made a suggestion that maybe they shouldn't have even had online available to begin with. And then that way, it gives us a couple of weeks to mull over the information, whether we keep our pre-order, whether we don't, and then go from there, and then just wait. expect online is trash, but at least we have already been forewarned. A lot of these issues with gaming companies and publishers come down to the fact that they don't tell us, right? And it's probably because they're afraid of losing money. But you were going to lose more than money. You were going to lose reputation. You were going to damage your reputation because you're sitting there going, well, you know, if we don't tell them, then they won't cancel the pre-order. Yeah, but you act like a pre-order is a guarantee. By the way, anyone that sits there and goes, well, you know, if you pre-order your game, that's it, it's game over, you know, like they've won. They haven't won. You just go get a refund. You just go get a refund. Like, it's not hard, right? What you're doing is that you're making sure that when you pre-order something, you want it immediately, right? But if you don't pre-order and then you go out the same day and buy it, a matter of hours is not going to make much of a difference, okay? But regardless, you are not locked in for life. As long as you are refunding under certain terms and conditions on whatever platform you're on, you have no problem. And there's a lot of people out there, don't pre-order games, don't pre-order games. Like, that is the issue here. It's not the issue, because we still have all the power to refund this stuff and get our money back. So I don't see it as an issue whatsoever, all right? At all. So I would, I disregard that sort of stuff because it doesn't make any difference anyway, because you get your money back, right? It's not the main issue here. The issue here is that gaming companies for a while and publishers have been quite content pushing out content that is unfinished, right? And if it is unfinished, fucking tell us. Hell, put the early access tag on the Steam page, okay? Because transparency means everything when you are the one handing over the money, okay? So I am very grateful that they are onto this. They seem to be taking this stuff very seriously, making sure that they deal with all of these sorts of issues, because they do have their online arcade coming out. It does look really good. And my major concern is that in a quick match, if we are having all of these problems, what's it going to be like when you've got all of these people making their own separate rooms, their own separate lobbies inside those rooms with multiple different games? How's that going to work? That's my concern, right? Because if the infrastructure cannot handle it right now, what's going to happen then? Now, again, if this is all just simply placeholder and they suddenly flick the big red switch and suddenly we get this glorious online experience, that'll be great. But a lot of people are going to be looking out for a lot of videos and a lot of articles and a lot of reviews and a lot of comments and whatnot everywhere to see whether or not, once the online arcade drops, if this thing has actually lived up to the expectations and finally fixed the online part of it. Because it should, right? It absolutely should. This game is not just made, and this is the other thing, I keep saying it, this game, as much as I've been advocating for having something like a collection like this, it was not made for me. It was made for all Mortal Kombat fans of those games, and Mortal Kombat fans have a different degree of criteria that they are interested in when it comes to playing these games on you know, whatever platform. Do they play mostly offline? Do they play mostly online? Do they play a bit of both? So you can't sit there and go, well, I'm happy. Your opinion, you're just over exaggerating. They'll fix it. That is not a good mentality, because then that just adds into what every other company and stuff has been doing forever, right? Because they know some people won't be bothered refunding. They'll just sit there and go, yeah, I can't be fucked. Whatever. There are people like that. Even though it's a couple of clicks, there are people like that, right? So, therefore, they take advantage of those people's good nature, of their laziness even, to not go ahead and getting their money back, right? But the good thing about PC, the good thing about Steam, is that you can't leave a review unless you own the game. So when you see a review on there, it means that somebody has spent their money, good or bad, and you're getting their opinion, which I do appreciate when it comes to the PC platform. So, but anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.